Hi, it's Steph. And if you've been around my channel for a while, you know that we've been working on this area called our Japanese maple garden. And while we're not finished, we are in the home stretch. So I'll give you guys an update. This garden area here started about 2 years ago when we used to have a children's play set in the back here. And when our children no longer played with it, we decided to take it down, give it away, which opened up all of this extra space. And at that point, we started collecting some of these Japanese maples, which both my husband and I really enjoy. And once we started planting them and spacing them, we realized that the garden space or the bed that we had cut out originally needed to be a lot bigger, which is usually the case when you start planting and spacing things. And as that went on, we decided, well, what are we going to edge this area with? And we started collecting some cobblestone. That's been kind of a long process because we casually look online for when we can find a good price on some cobble. And we've been able to collect quite a bit to edge these beds and create this walkway path within the garden. And this morning it was going to start raining, and actually it is raining right now. So we took advantage of the overcast skies and cool temps to go ahead and mulch this area for the season. And this is as good as it's going to look, because everyone knows brand new mulch looks so nice and everything pops so beautifully against it. So I thought I'd take a couple of minutes to just go through and show you guys how things are looking. This path here is what George has been working on most recently. He's been doing this a lot. Whenever he has a little bit of time, he comes out here and he's dug out all of the soil to kind of level things out. And he did go ahead and insert some drainage, which we'll get to in a little bit. And most recently, he started placing some of the walking stones or the path stones, the flagstone that we had collected, and put in some gravel to kind of get a feel for how things look and to kind of level the entrance to our path. And I'm really loving the way it's looking. Here's a different angle of the area. Now, we have been collecting a lot of footage throughout this whole project, and we're going to make an all-encompassing video at some point soon. But we just wanted to kind of provide an update as to where we are with the project right now, and something for us to look back on and have a record of as well. But the last couple of things that George has worked on is there are 2 steps here. This is our patio where our shed is. And he has cemented in these 2 steps, as well as all of the cobblestone edging all around the whole perimeter of the garden inside the walking path. And the drainage pipe is right here all along the edge. And so he still needs to finish working on that. And then once that is completed, we can finish placing the landscape fabric as well as the walking stones and gravel to finish off the path. Here in the back of this garden area, there is still this long bed that sort of borders the garden that is still a work in progress. It has a lot of cardboard that we've placed down and weighted with some of the cobble and flagstone that we're not using yet in order to kill off the lawn. And so, yeah, so this area is still ongoing. But some of these trees that are planted here are looking absolutely gorgeous with this spring color. They're so vibrant in this spring. This beauty here is called Orange Dream. It's got a really beautiful, vibrant yellow spring color. And then this one here, it's been slow to grow, but it's looking really nice now, is called Shiraz. It's got a little bit of a pink color, dark red in the center with a little bit of a pinkish outer edge. Really pretty. And then this is a Golden Duchess hemlock. That's what it is. And then this little tree here, which has these beautiful stacked leaves, is called a Mikawa Yatsubusa. Right behind it is another really beautiful, bright, limey colored Japanese maple. And this is part of the Ghost series. And this one is called Sister Ghost. It has some reticulation or a bit of a variegation on the foliage. And this is a really pretty red variety called Fire Glow. And we'll get to the bed that is completed now. I do have a couple of these Japanese Hakonokloa forest grasses here in the corners, and they might have to get moved at some point because I wanted them to be at the corner of the edge. And like I said, we kept expanding the bed. And so instead of them being out here somewhere, they're all the way back there. So once we are more final on that bed there, then I can go ahead and make that decision. That won't likely be until next year where I move them. But this is the other angle. This is from the end of the path looking back towards our shed. And this is the bed that's done for the season at least. So here, what I did this morning actually to take advantage of the rain that we're having today is I transplanted and divided some of this Helen von Steen lamb's ear. Now last season I had bought some of this lamb's ear and it's great, and this grows like a beast. So if you can find it, it's prolific. You don't need many because you'll be able to divide it just a year in. And so what I did was I created a drift of 5 going along the edge of the bed here. And I really like this blue-gray color foliage, and it adds a beautiful accent to the border. Then I have this other yellow Japanese maple here, and this one is called Jordan. And it's one of the full moon varieties. It has this really beautiful large leaf. And in the center here, I have an Ariadne, which has a really beautiful orange color in the spring. It's almost like a burnt orange. And of course I have some hostas planted underneath, and I tried to crowd them sort of under the tree since it's the shadiest spot. This is still a part sun garden, and so I'm working on adding more shade to this area, but that won't happen until all of these trees are fairly large. And you can see a bamboo stick here, and this bamboo stick is a placeholder. We actually plan on putting one more tree or some kind of conifer in that area. So what I did was I just put a bamboo stick there so that we know that we have that spot to plant something. And then my Oriental Golden Spruce. I finally took the cage away from around it. We had it caged in for the winter because of deer. We have lots of deer in our garden and I had to protect it. But I'm going to put these deer spikes. You can see these little green things there. They're wireless deer fence. And so I'm going to test it in this area this year. But I'm really loving the way the lamb's ear is looking here bordering this bed. I did give them some space. And over time, as I find dwarf conifers, I will eventually move the lamb's ear out of this area, place them in my front beds, and plant the dwarf conifers along the edges because that is where they'll get the most sun. But for now, I think that the lamb's ear is filling a really nice gap in this bed. And a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a month ago now, I had gone to Home Depot and I found this really cool whipcord arborvitae. It is an evergreen and it looks like a crazy head of hair. And I planted it right here and I really like it. And this beauty here is called an Autumn Moon Japanese Maple. And this one is George's favorite. It's absolutely gorgeous. And walking in through the path, I'll give you a little look as to what plants are planted on the inside here. So here on the edges again, I added this Hakonokloa forest grass to flank both sides of the entrance to the path on both ends, both the exit and the entrance. And last night, I knew it was going to rain this morning, so after dinner, when the sun was starting to go down, I went ahead and I divided this caramel heuchera that I had bought and overwintered from last year. I hope it takes well to being divided, and we end up with 3 of them because they are a really pretty color heuchera. In the center, I have a dwarf Hinoki cypress. And in the corner there, I have another dwarf variety of Hinoki cypress that's yellow. But that one had a little bit of a rough go over the last year, and so I'm just going to leave it there for now. hoping it recovers, and if it doesn't, then we'll have to replace it. I have an Ito peony that actually has a bud on it, so it's going to be opening up, which is really exciting because I planted that bare root last year. And so this is the second spring, and it has a bud. This one is either Cora Louise or Julia Rose. I will know once it blooms. And I also, last night when I was out here, did a little bit of transplanting. These are painted ferns, Asian painted ferns. And they were in a really sunny area of this bed, and they would get really, really burnt by the end of the summer, really crispy. So I did go ahead and move them here, and I'm hoping that they're going to be a bit happier because they will be shaded by this Ariadne Japanese maple. And so this takes us to the end of the path, which is still a little bit of a walking hazard because we're still working on it. On the other side of the walkway, I have a weeping blue spruce, some heuchera. I also planted some Heaven Sent Jacob's Ladder this spring. I had some Brunnera, but the Brunnera didn't make it over the winter. And so I put those there to have a little bit of a contrast in texture with the fern-like foliage. And then some heucheras. I don't know if these heucheras will make it till next year. So this is my final try with heuchera in my garden. And then I just transplanted some carex. That one's looking like it's on the out. But this, like I said, this whole area is a work in progress. It's new. So as things work, I'll leave them. And as they die off, then I replace them. And some lady's mantle, which looks absolutely beautiful in the rain. But this is how this area is looking at the moment. I thought I would just take a few minutes to document it and to share with you the progress on this garden. I hope that you've enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching and spending your time with me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up button, and please consider subscribing so you don't miss any of my future videos, and we'll see you soon.